What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. I really appreciate you all being here so very much. Anybody that's watching the stream after the stream, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Anybody that's watching the stream now, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Diving into it. So Patrick Beverley is having his Laker presser, his introduction to the Lakers team. And it looks like Russell Westbrook was there. Russell Westbrook was handing out, even gave Patrick Beverley some daps, and all looked right in the world, right? But, of course, that means the question, what is going on? Is Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook, are they going to actually play together? Is this going to be a tandem? We got the report that, the Lakers, LeBron's little mini camp, players only. If Westbrook's on the team, he's going to be there. We got word last night from Jazz beat writer that the Lakers and the Jazz are discussing a potential trade for Russell Westbrook. This, that, and the other. Russell Westbrook's there with Darvin Ham. What does this mean? That's always a big question, right? But it looks like it's what it looks like. It looks like what it's been. Russell Westbrook and Darvin Ham, they've been side by side. They've been in pairing. They've been in tandem. And Russ has been very on board with Darvin Ham, and they've been sort of two peas in a pod in many ways. It's not up to Ham, it's not up to Patrick Beverley, it's not up to anybody. It's up to the Lakers. Do the Lakers find a deal that is worth moving off of Russell Westbrook? If they do, then yeah, they're going to move off of him. If they can't find something and nothing's out there is worth it, and they can't find a happy medium, then they're probably going to keep Russ. That's just ultimately what's going to happen. I don't think keeping Russ is the end of the world, but I think the Lakers are going to do whatever they can and whatever it takes to end up moving off of Russ and get the right deal. I don't really put too much into him being at the presser. And it wasn't like they hung out. It wasn't like, they were eating cookies together or something. No, it was just a quick, hey, and then a quick dap. Could it have been something? Possibly. But, look, I've said it time and time again. Russ is on the team until Russ isn't on the team. Until Russell Westbrook isn't on the team, then, Russ is going to play ball. Darvin Ham's going to support him. You're going to see the players support him. Patrick Beverley has been very open, very public about Russ and wanting to play side-by-side Russ. So I don't know. We'll see. There's no guarantee that a trade's going to happen, but today is the first official day in which a trade can happen. So that's a good sign. That's really good. If we have to write it out for us with Russ for another year, then we write it out with Russ for another year. Now, there's not any real game changers besides Kyrie Irving next season. If he doesn't come, then what do the Lakers do? Do they throw money at a couple mid-tier guys? Maybe if Gary Trent wants out, but he's making $20 million or $25 million or something like that next season. So it's is he going to opt out and sign for less with the Lakers? I don't think he's worth, a $30, $40 million contract, stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see. But today is the first day in which this could happen. The beauty is that we know the Lakers and the Jazz were having the conversation. We got the report from Jazz Notes, they were the ones that basically leaked and put out all the information on the trades for the Donovan Mitchell and things like that. So they're reputable. And then you have the athletic writer, Tony, who covers the Jazz. Even he said they're having a conversation. They're discussing a potential trade, may happen, but it's just conversations right now, right? You know how it goes. They're going to start with the highest possible outcome, and then work your way down and you try to find a happy medium. That is likely what's going to happen. But real quick, let's say hi to some people in the chat. What is going on? Salute, fam, and blessings. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, as stands. When is Rondo coming back to the Lakers? Probably never. He's probably never coming back to the NBA, period, after his whole thing that he did with his family and stuff. But, Russ is gone. It's only a matter of time. I think so. I do. I think, look, if the Lakers can find a reasonable trade, I think he's gone. It's just, can they find a reasonable trade? Because right now, everyone's trying to fleece the Lakers. Everybody wants both first. Everyone wants, whatever they can get. If they can figure out, it's going to come down to who's the first team that says, we will give you these players and we'll only take one first. There also could be another. There also could be another sort of team that maybe comes out of the woodworks. There might be another team that says like, hey, like I'll take one of those first. Like all these teams want the two first. The big thing is that like you have all these teams that look at it as like, I don't want to be the team that makes the Lakers win a champ. Like nobody wants to be that team that trades them, say 3 guys, and then they win a championship. And those 3 guys, like say the Jazz trade Conley, Bogdanovich and Beasley. And let's say those 3 guys are an integral part and huge for the Lakers, and the Lakers end up winning a championship, right? Everybody's going to be like, look, the Jazz messed it up, especially if they only take one first. So it's this like balance with these teams to try to get them to understand and see the reasoning of like, hey, don't, like be reasonable here. And you got to find that happy compromise. The only reason I think the Jazz are the most likely is because they have to move off of players. They have like 19, 20 guys on guaranteed contract. They have to move off of them, and do you do several trades and take on bad contracts or, have to unload guys like a Mike Conley because you got to give up firsts or something like that? Because how many teams are just going to take a $13 to $22 million contract? Not very many. Beasley and Vanderbilt definitely have some value, but those are the guys you probably want to keep, right? They don't want to move off the young guys. They want to move off the vets. So Russ is the only player in the league that has a contract that sizable to where you can make something happen. But what's going on, Austin? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out here and being a part of this stream. What happened? There we go. LA Sports Live, what is going on? Appreciate you being in the stream. If you didn't see yesterday, me and LA Sports Live, we did a live stream over on his channel. And it was a great talk, great conversation. I had a lot of fun. I'm very thankful for that. Whenever you guys get a chance at some point today, after the stream, go check out LA Sports Live and watch our stream. Leave a comment, say, hey, as it stands, sent me. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys. Looks like Russ is staying. I mean, look, it's always possible. Nothing is guaranteed, but I don't think it's anything other than like Russ is still on the team. Russ is still working in the facilities. He's still, hanging out with Darvin Ham. He's still, he's still showing face. He's there working out. Like, I'm not saying that it guarantees either way. I don't put that much into it. I mean, Russell Westbrook was at every presser, has been at every, he's at all of Darvin Ham's pressers. He's at everything, so it's not like, it's not out of the ordinary. Russ's contract expires next summer. It's not the end of the world. I agree. It's not the end of the world at all. Like, look, if the Lakers are stuck with Russ for another year, they're stuck with Russ for another year. I really don't think it's the be-all, end-all either way. Obviously, they were just both at the facility working out. Like you said, he's on the team until he's off the team. Exactly. My point exactly. Like, until Russ can't go to the Jazz's facility and work out. Like the only place he could go is the Lakers facility. He's putting in the grind. He's trying to get the workout. You're not going to, why would you go and pay to work out at a facility or do something like that when you can do it for free at the Lakers facility? Like, that's the whole point. So I don't put that much into it. It's not up to Russ. It's not up to Darvin Ham. It's not up to Patrick Beverley. It's up to Rob Palinka. If he can find the right deal to get something done, he's going to find the right deal to get it done. If there's no deal, then there's no deal. Palinka, L season. I mean, nothing's happened yet. We don't even know. We don't even know what the result is. Everything takes time. I don't see Tony Jones's tweet. Is it still there? Am I missing something? It should still be there. It was a response to the Lakers. Somebody tagged Tony in it or whatever, and he said the response. I have all the tweets in the video I posted last night where it says they talked about it. Like, I took the original tweet and all the tweets that were a part of it. So they're all in that video if you want to read them. Otherwise, if you filter it by like, responds and media or whatever that other option is, you should probably see it somewhere. Or just look up or just search. Another way to probably find it is if you search Russell Westbrook Jazz trade or something like that. It should be, those tweets should be one of the first things. That's how I found it last night, because I just searched that, and because somebody mentioned it to me, I looked it up and I was like, oh, there it all is. And then I just screenshotted all of the tweets and then made the video. we can still make a trade. If not now, then by the deadline. Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility. But here's my thing with the trade deadline. I just don't think it makes sense at that point. Because either two things are going to happen. Either the Lakers are going to be good, and it's like, why mess it up? Like, either Darvin Ham's going to figure out a way to get Russell Westbrook to buy in and be effective, and the Lakers are, say, like the 4 seed. You know, like at that point, why would you break that up? You might as well write it out and see what happens. Or the alternative is the Lakers are terrible, and it's like you might as well just keep that cap space and go into next season. You know, I just think however you shake it at the trade deadline, a trade doesn't really make sense for Westbrook. I'm sure more teams would want Westbrook. You know, I'm sure there's teams that like, you know, they're just like, hey, we're not going to make the playoffs. Let's tank and move off of these vet guys. I just think the only way a trade happens is if the Lakers are like right there. You know, let's say they're like a 7th seed, but they're not very good and they're just looking terrible. And it's like Russ is still a problem. Russ is still an issue. Nothing's really working out. Then maybe they try to find like that vet deal. But at that point, it's like, you're going to make this trade and you're just going to get eliminated in the first round. And it's like, why do the deal at all? So I just think, I either think Russ gets traded now or he doesn't get traded at all. Like, that's really what I think. I just, you know, look, I could be wrong. Maybe they do. Maybe there is a good deal. You know, maybe the Nets implode and they just are like, hey, we'll take Russ in a first, you know, just to get something for Kyrie before he leaves and goes to you guys. Maybe something like that happens. And then, you know, maybe you're like, hey, we're like the 7th, 8th seed, but we get Kyrie. All of a sudden we're a contender now. Maybe something like that happens. But I think the likelihood of it happening is just extremely slim. Extremely slim. It's crazy that even with all the drama going on with Kyrie and the Nets, I think they're still contenders and have a good chance of winning the title with KD. Kyrie. Dude, serious. I mean, look, the Brooklyn Nets on paper are, in my opinion, the best team in the league. Like, they are ridiculous. It's just, they're just one bad day away from just a full implosion. So that's the big thing, is that, like, you know, will they be able to kind of get themselves right? Will they be able to kind of get themselves together? That's a real question. That's a real concern, I feel, when it comes to that team, is like, you know, they're just one bad day away. But anyway, the chemistry will be destroyed by the deadline, wasting another year of LeBron. I mean, it's possible, depending on the situation, you know. I don't think that they will, but they're definitely a contender. Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee. It's hard to win a championship, but they're definitely one of the better teams, hands down. Didn't you say all players Lakers are trying to trade for Utah are eligible 9 p.m. No, that was a video from yesterday. So yeah, technically it was 9 p.m. yesterday because it's midnight on the East Coast. The 6th, which is today. The 6th is the first official day. It's not a deadline. It's not a deadline to where it's like the Lakers can only get this deal done today. Today becomes the first official day that the Lakers can make a trade that includes either Vanderbilt or Beasley. Now, the Lakers could have done a Jazz deal this entire time, but they wouldn't have been able to get a guy like Beasley. So that deal would have been like Rudy Gay, Conley, and Bogdanovich, or, you know, Bogdanovich, Conley, and Clarkson, something like that, because you have to match salaries. And you got to remember, the Jazz are hard cap now because of the sign and trade with Colin Sexton. So today, the 6th, became the first official day that Beasley and Vanderbilt became available. And to prove my point, if you watch that video where I show all the tweets, the first announcement that the Lakers and the Jazz had started a conversation with the trade was at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So that lines up to my point. So for those that are like, oh, what does he know? Does he, like, he could just be making that up? No, go look it up. Proof is in the pudding, or proof is in the video, I should say. Do you think Russell Westbrook will get traded before the season starts? Yeah, I do. I think the Jazz deal is the most likely to happen. I think if he doesn't get traded, then he's on the Lakers the whole season. I think either Russ gets traded in the next like week or two, or that's it. Like, if we get into training camp with Russ, I think that's our team. So what's going on, Ahmed? Appreciate you being here. Pacers could take on Bogdanovich for one of their 2 extra 2023s, first plus Boggy, and reach the salary floor. Then have him, Turner, and Hield to move at the deadline. Yeah, I mean, I made a video earlier just because so many people were asking me if there was a way for Turner, for the Lakers to still get Turner if they do the Jazz deal. The problem is that if you, because Bogdanovich, so Turner and Hield collectively make what? They make like $40 million. So you wouldn't be able to do the Bog deal for Hield and Turner. There's not, unless excuse me, unless the Lakers basically took the Jazz assets and sent them to the Pacers, there's no way you're going to get both of them, which at that point, there's no reason for the Lakers to get Buddy Hield because you have Bogdanovich and he's going to give you basically the same thing. He's just a bigger body. And you'd have Mike Conley. So you basically got your shooting, you got your flexibility. But what the Lakers could do is they could send Malik Beasley, who him and Miles Turner could just be an even swap because of the 125% rule. So if you're the Lakers, if you wanted to get Turner, it's the only like reasonable way the Lakers could actually get Miles Turner in a deal would be you basically do the Westbrook trade to the Jazz. Lakers would get Conley, Beasley, and Bogdanovich, and then you take Beasley and you say, hey, hey Pacers, here's your options. You either can lose Miles Turner for nothing, or you can get a young guy that can play right next to Halliburton, and now you have the two of them for the long haul. What would you rather do? Would you rather get nothing for Miles Turner, or get maybe like a couple seconds or something, or would you rather have a proven young player in Beasley? We'll take Miles Turner, and then the Lakers would end up with Mike Conley, Turner, and Bogdanovich. That's a pretty good scenario. Now, will it happen? Most likely not. I highly doubt it'll happen. But can it conceivably happen? Yes. Like I said, I just had a lot of people in the comments that were asking me, like, how could the Lakers end up landing Turner? That's pretty much the only way. That would make sense for everybody. Russ is staying. What other reason would they have a press conference? I mean, he's working out at the facility. I mean, people got to remember, he is still a Laker. He's still on the Lakers until he's traded. So he's still working out at the facility every day. He's still, hanging out at the facility because he can't go. Like, let's say he knows he's going to Utah. He can't go into the Utah Jazz's facility and be like, hey, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be traded to you next week. Like, so can I hang out and play here? Like, no, it's not how it works. Like he has to use the Lakers facilities because he's still a Laker. So Westbrook's there. He's probably hanging out, talking to Darvin Ham. We saw him and Darvin Ham working out or talking out together, stuff like that. He's been at every Laker presser. Like, so him being at the Patrick Beverley presser is not like some groundbreaking news. It's not something where it's like, no way, like what? Oh no, this is a bad sign. Like, doesn't mean anything either way. He was at all of Darvin Ham's pressers because he's at the facility pretty much every day, working on his game, working on what he's doing, working out, hitting the gym, using the reps, using the therapy, using this, that, and the other. It's just, it's part of the thing. I hope Russ, just for Rob, lost his job. They ain't firing Russ. He deleted the tweet. Maybe. It's possible. He might have. Maybe he wasn't supposed to say anything. I mean, he said in the tweet, I'm not at liberty to discuss that right now or whatever, or something along those lines. So maybe he wasn't even supposed to mention that. That's a possibility. If Russ stays, that would be ideal move. Would you do to fill out the roster? Problem is not very many people left. Look, if we're stuck with Russ, I would rather, like, you got Patrick Beverley. Go get Cole Swider. Let him get some shot. Like, I'd look to the young guys. Get Huff, get Swider. Let them come on. Let them get some burn. Games that were getting blown out or games that were blowing somebody out, they get some run. Maybe like sprinkle in, if Davis is out, you have Huff or Swider play. Like, at that point, I just think, like, there's no other free agents out there right now currently that are going to make a huge impact. Here, let's look up. Let's see who's still out there. Because I know like Josh Jackson signed. I know Montrezl Harrell signed today with the Sixers. So like the Wells drying out, a lot of them are big men. A lot of them are like DeMarcus Cousins and guys like that. Let's see. No, that's an old post. All right, let's trying to see which. Oh, here we go. 2 hours ago, top remaining free agents. Let's see. You got, oh no, this is just for the Warriors. I don't know, but I know that there's not a lot of like big free agents left. Like Markieff Morris signed. I know Jabari Parker's out there, but like, injury issues, stuff like that. Like there's just, the problem is there's not really any names or free agents that are worth signing. At that point, I'd rather them just, give our younger guys a shot, see what they do. What's going on, Lake Show Broco? Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Nice dude, my man. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's hot, so I gotta keep it up. And plus, I hate when like my hair gets in, like starts getting in my ears. Like I'm just lazy, so I'm just like, do I really want to go cut my hair? No. So yeah, but now we do. Now we do. Pat Bev says Russell Westbrook still staying with the Lakers. Yeah, but it's not up to him. You know what I mean? Like, is it possible that Russ stays with the Lakers? Absolutely. But if Rob Palinka finds a deal that is worth trading for Russell Westbrook, he's going to take that deal. He's not going to say no to a deal to move off of Russ. So I just think it depends on what are the deals. What are the deals out there? Do you think there's a chance Lakers could take back Rudy Gay instead of Mike Conley and the salary dump deal? I mean, is there? Yes. But like, why? I mean, yeah, it gives us a little more wing depth, but Mike Conley is going to give you a lot more, because the good thing about Mike Conley is now you don't need to rely so heavily on LeBron. Like you get Mike Conley, and now LeBron, like if LeBron misses a game or, you want to cut his minutes down, you have Mike Conley to do so. What Mike Conley played 71 games last year, something like that, or 70 games, 69 games, something like that. So I would rather have Mike Conley over Rudy Gay, because Rudy Gay isn't going to make that much of a difference. Mike Conley is a solid 3-point shooter, still is a solid defender. He's got the veteran. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He does what's necessary. He can play on the ball. He can play off the ball. He can come off the bench. He could start. It gives you more flexibility with Mike Conley, and it takes just so much pressure off of LeBron this season. Because I think however you shake it, if they move off of Westbrook, LeBron's going to handle probably a heavy load of point guard duties. But if you have a guy like Mike Conley, he doesn't really have to do that as much. As well as Bogdanovich. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Yeah, you could get Gay over Conley, but I just think the Lakers, it would be best for the Lakers to take Conley. I think in your case, it is a matter of if not, when will you grow facial hair? Look, man, I had to shave yesterday, and I didn't even shave anything. I can't grow facial hair. It's terrible. I try. I want it to grow in. I like the little rugged look, but I can't do it. I'm still, I don't know. I'm just like a naked mole rat. KD going to sign with the Sixers next year. I don't know how that's possible when Kevin Durant isn't a free agent for another 4 years. Look like Russ is staying. I mean, it's possible. Look, like I said, I don't really buy too heavily into that. Russ is at the facility. He's there. It wasn't like him and Patrick Beverley were, eating tea and, drinking tea and eating crumpets and just living their best life. Look, Russ is there. He's been hanging out with Darvin Ham. He's been at every single presser. He was at all of Darvin Ham's pressers. He's been at all the pressers. Look, he's still on the team. And until he's traded, who knows what's going to happen? Could he end up, staying with the Lakers? Yeah. And I personally don't think it's the end of the world that happens, but it's just, like I said, Rob Palinka, he's going to make a trade if it's worth it. He's not going to pull the trigger on a deal just to pull the trigger on a deal. But if he finds a trade that's worth value, that he thinks okay, this makes us better and we don't have to sell the farm, then he's going to make the deal. But, don't just assume a deal is going to happen. That's my thing. Wish we had a more savvy GM. I mean, Rob Palinka's been fine. A lot of people have recency bias with Rob Palinka. The dude put together a championship team. The following year, he upgraded every position. Fans, the media, the league, execs, everybody was praising Rob Palinka. How did he pull this off? That was amazing. And we were an Anthony Davis injury away from very likely being in the finals again. It's just and everything that happened last year, Anthony Davis and LeBron James wanted it to happen. They went. DeMar DeRozan himself said, "I thought I was going to the Lakers." Buddy Hield thought he was going to the Lakers. Rob had these deals lined up to make us much better than we were last year. But Anthony Davis and LeBron James kicked the door in and said, hey, I want you to go get Russell Westbrook. We talked, we hung out, we're going to make it work. And when you're the GM and your stars tell you, like, hey, this is the guy we want, you go do it. And not just that, but LeBron, the last thing you want is LeBron James to get upset and walk away. So he had leverage. LeBron had everything. There's not a GM in the league that would have told them no. That would have went and got Russell Westbrook if that's what they really wanted. Because that's how you lose your job. Nobody's told LeBron James no. It's just not how it works. And now LeBron, Rob Palinka's got to clean up the mess. He's the fall guy. He's the GM, so he's the fall guy. But I see people all the time that are like, I would have said, no, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have said nothing. You would have said, okay, of course, that's what I'll do right now, sir. Like, that's what you would have done. Because you're not going to risk millions of dollars, your job, stuff like that. You do what you want because you have your out. Genie comes, dude, LeBron and Anthony Davis wanted this. It didn't work out. Blame them. I did what they wanted to do. That's how this works. The Pacers have Hield, Mathurin, Neisman, and Dart already at small forward and shooting guard. Yes, but a lot of those guys can play multiple positions. So you could start and intertwine multiple of them. And would you rather lose nothing? Would you rather lose Miles Turner for nothing? Wouldn't it be better to get him? And he's an expiring contract, so you don't lose anything there. Probably get a couple picks, whatever. 2 picks and no Russ. Maybe Pacers will accept it. Problem is, one, you're probably gonna have to move the deal. You're probably gonna have to move a pick in the Russ deal or in the Jazz deal. Secondly, if you don't move Russell Westbrook, you don't have a way to get the Pacers deal. So it doesn't work. Non-Lakers related, but how do you feel about Montrezl Harrell signing with the 76ers? The Celtics potentially signing Melo because of Gallinari's injury. No problem. Montrezl Harrell, I think, was a nice pickup. 2 years, player option for the second year. It's a solid backup. Maybe Montrezl could kind of get back into the swing of things. He's on a team that's a legit team. Probably play some substantial minutes. So I don't think it's a bad move at all. As far as Melo, I think Melo would be a low risk, high reward pickup. You need somebody to replace Gallo. And unless you want to do a trade or something, Melo's one of the better options out there. If we had Russ, we wasted another year of LeBron aging. I don't know. It depends on how good Darvin Ham can make Russ. Like I was talking about recency bias. Like, people forget Russell Westbrook was a 25-point triple-double guy and helped him and Bradley Beal pretty much single-handedly took the Wizards to the playoffs. Like, the guy was balling out the year prior. It's just a bad fit. If Darvin Ham can figure out a way to get Russ to be effective and efficient, Lakers can be good. Look, Russ last year averaged 18, 7, and 7. If he could average that, but efficiently, then the Lakers are good. They have a legit big three if that's the case. It's just, can Darvin Ham get that out of him? And to further the point of Russ is still a solid player, the one game he didn't have LeBron and Anthony Davis, he put up 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 15 assists and almost single-handedly won the game. He's still that guy. He's just in a really bad situation. Frank Vogel did him no favors. I'm not saying Russ wasn't part of the problem. He absolutely was. But he wasn't the main problem. Like, people act like if we didn't have Russ, we would have won the NBA championship last year. No, our team was terrible. Like, it was more than just Russ. Maybe Darvin Ham can fix Russ. I do. And it's good to see that Darvin Ham and Russ have that relationship, at least, because if Russ ends up on the team, Russ believes in the coach and is going to do and follow what he wants, Send Russell Westbrook to the Spartans so he can be the first person to average triple-double facts. If the Lakers still stink and Russ is a terrible fit halfway into the season, teams will still demand those two first. Now we're halfway through the season and still give it the same pick. I think if the Lakers stink, there's no point in trading Russ at that point. You might as well just ride out the season, let his money fall off. That's why I'm saying I just don't see the Lakers making a trade if that ends up happening. What's going on, the Kareem Report? I appreciate you being here. How you doing? Yes, please get that like. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Really does help out the channel, and it helps this stream and the stream after. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's get those subscribes up, those likes up, all of that stuff. I'd really appreciate it. And the Kareem Report, something might be in the works, so stay tuned for that. I haven't gotten the confirmation yet, but if we do, maybe I'll make an announcement while we're on the stream. Can you see the Jazz going into the season with Conley, Bog, and Clarkson? If not, who else would trade for them other than the Lakers? See, that's my point. That's why I think the Jazz deal is the most likely to happen, because the Jazz, they have to move off these players. They have like 19 to 20 guys. Yeah, 2 of them are on two-way deals, but you still have to move like 4 guys, or 3 guys at least. And what are your other options? You either do the Lakers deal, one swoop, there you go, boom, you're done. You get an asset, cool. Or you have to move these guys in individual deals. Who's taking Conley's contract? Who's taking Gay's contract? Who's taking Clarkson's contract? Bog, maybe there's some value because it's an expiring, but nobody's giving up assets for those guys. So either you're taking on bad contracts, like a team like Miami. Like Miami would love to do that. Hey, we got Duncan Robinson on a 4-year, $25 million deal. We'll take Bogdanovich and Clarkson off your hands, and we'll give you. But that makes no sense for the Jazz. The Lakers deal is the best deal for the Jazz. It's just, can they come to an agreement? Can they come to an understanding? Will the Jazz finally cave? And look, all of this is just icing on the cake, or maybe not even ice, maybe the cherry on top for Danny Ainge and the Jazz. I mean, they've already got their assets. They're already set for the future. They're good. They're in a good place. Conley is a decent player. Yes, absolutely. I would rather have Conley over Clarkson. Not a fan of Conley. I mean, some people aren't, but I just think the fit's better. What you get from them is better. We have several Jordan Clarksons right now. Are y'all in the gym office or Coach Ham's office? How do you know, guys, know anything? I'm tired of the he said, she said. This is hilarious. All these 2K GMs. Like I said, nobody knows what is going on. Nobody knows anything. And until something official happens, we got to just write it out. All we have is what's being put out there. Who's the next NBA team to win a championship that hasn't won before? Ooh. I think the Grizzlies are probably in the best position. I think the Grizzlies are in a really good position to maybe potentially win a championship in the next few years. So I'd say the Grizzlies. I mean, the Grizzlies have only made one Western Conference. They've never even been to the finals. So I'd probably say the Grizzlies. Beasley was offered for Turner last winter. Pacers said no thanks. Yeah, but now we're in a different situation. Turner is an expiring contract. Pacers are taking. It's a much different scenario now. If we don't trade Russ, who should we sign before training camp? That's the problem. I just don't think there's anybody out there. We don't need any more bigs. There's no real wing players. Like the wells kind of dried up for like the good guys. Like Josh Jackson would have been nice, but he got signed. I think you give, you look at Swider, you give Swider and why am I blanking on his name? Huff. There we go. Sorry about that. You give Swider and Huff a shot. Let them earn the spots. Let them work a training camp. Give them some burn. Give them some run. Kind of integrate them into the system. They're probably not going to play a ton, but at that point, you're hoping that Swider is like a 42% 3-point shooter. And then it's like, okay, cool. We just got our buddy Hield. Like at that point, I would rather take a flyer and a chance on, one of these younger guys is kind of what I would do. I hope Russ is staying. Hey, it's a possibility. It's a real possibility. Darvin Ham has to say all the right things till Russ is gone. When we land another player, Ham will still say all the right things. He can't be like, I can't stand runs. He doesn't fit. Exactly. Look, Darvin Ham has said all of the right things, and he's going to continue to say all the right things until he, whatever's done is done. It's just how it is. It's how it works. I'm depressed after seeing Pat Bev and Russ laughing together. I mean, like I said, I don't put too much into it. Like, is it possible he stays? Yeah, absolutely. But, like I said, they weren't, it wasn't like they were spending a bunch of time. They were just kind of like, oh yeah, dabs, saying a little joke, laughing, kind of showing face. They're on camera, like put them in the locker room and see if they're like that, let's see. Salute, thank you. I see you everywhere too, bro. Thank you. What else we got? Sorry, trying to find something to me. Lakers over everything. What is going on? Appreciate you. Starting to believe we are going into the season with Russ on the squad. The more I hear D Ham speak, the more I believe it. Hey, look, that goes over everything. It's always a possibility. Always a possibility that we keep Russ. But, Darvin Ham, he's got to say what he's got to say. He can't be like, look, I don't like Russ. Russ sucks. He's not going to be part of the system. He's not going to be part of the team. He's got to, like, what is he supposed to say? He's got to say the PC stuff because he wants Russ to buy in case Russ is on this roster. Like, last thing you want to do is piss off Russ. Now you're going into training camp. Now you're going into the season, and Russ is doing the stuff he was doing to Frank Vogel. And now it's just an absolute mess again. At least, you say the right things. You keep that hope. You keep that excitement, and now you're in a good situation. That's how I look at this, if I'm being honest. What's going on, Laker Fan for Life? Appreciate you being here. We just don't have enough shooting if we don't trade Russ. We need more quality depth, and that's the best thing we can get for quality. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, we don't. But to be fair, some of the guys like Walker, he had like a 40% three-point season, stuff like that. And a lot of these guys that are like, 33 to 34%, a lot of these guys really have the potential to bump that up a couple percent, to get to league average or, maybe slightly above, maybe like 36, 37%, because these guys have never been on a team with a LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And if they keep Russ. So you're going to have all these guys that, take Walker, for example. Walker was like the second option on the Spurs. He's going from being the second to maybe third option to like the fifth. Like, he's going to have more open shots than he's ever had in his career. So that could really increase it. So we don't know how good or bad this team's going to be. Like, that's something I keep trying to express. And maybe I'll dedicate like a video independently on that because I think that that's something that's important too. Like, we have no idea how good or bad this Laker team's going to be. We have an entirely new coach, entirely new roster. We're younger, we're more athletic, we're better defensive, all of that stuff. So I think that that's all stuff we got to, keep in mind and take into account. I think the deal would have been done. It's just Danny Ainge, a stubborn Celtic. They couldn't get the deal done until earliest today. So like why even negotiate when you don't know what's done? You got a week away. It's like, why would we even talk about it? So like I said, if we don't see any traction in the next like couple days to like a week, then yeah, Westbrook's probably staying. Conley, Bog, Beasley, I think helps us more. Clarkson is just not shooting good enough for me. Yeah, he shot like 42% from the field total. Kendrick Nunn, and this is something I was telling somebody in the comment section earlier today. Kendrick Nunn shot almost as good from three as Clarkson did from the entire field. Clarkson was a 42% shooter the last 2 years. Actually, last year I think he was like 41 and 41.7 or something like that. But Nunn is a 38% three-point shooter the last time he played. So like Kendrick Nunn by himself shoots better from three than almost Clarkson does by the entire shoot. Like, Clarkson's just not a good fit. He just would, and we already have like Walker and Nunn and guys like that are just, they're better suited. If we can get the Jazz and Pacers deal, we are by far the better team than we currently are. Yes, I do believe we would be a title contender to the trade. Yeah, I do too. I think that we look. I said it. I've said it several times. I even said it in the LA Live Sports stream. Like, look, I'll take my chances with Anthony Davis and LeBron James with quality role guys. Like, I'll take my chances. I was so high after the trade rumors last night. No, I'm in the dumps. Do you believe Bev and Russ hanging out could be a leverage play? So teams think it's desperate not to trade. I don't think it's that. I just think like Russ is there, Pat Bev's there. Like, what are they supposed to do? Tell each other to go F themselves? Like, there's a possibility that they could both be playing together. They're both in the same room in front of cameras and stuff. Like, they're not stupid. They're not going to come on and be like, oh no, like, F you, and start fist fighting in the middle of the thing. I think it's like they're just both there. Like, you gotta show face. You got to show face for the cameras. Wouldn't you think Lakers let Huff, Swider, and Christie play a ton in preseason to get better looks at them? It's a possibility. Why not? Preseason is preseason. The only thing is like, yeah, a lot like usually when you're talking preseason, you're using those games to kind of get your motions and things like that right. You're trying to build that chemistry in real game situations, but it's usually not like, usually the star players only playing like a quarter. It's just like NFL preseason or anything else. If we don't do the deal, I believe they elevate Swider's contract to a regular roster spot. Hopefully, they've been working with him on defense and is willing to give him a chance. Yeah, to me, that would be the best scenario, because at that point, like you're hoping Huff or Swider come in and have like an Austin Reeves season, or an Alex Caruso season, where it's like, you thought these guys were just going to be like, into the bench guys, and they actually earned a roster spot. Like they actually earned a rotation spot. That's your best case scenario. So that's what I would do. Keep the picks, keep cap space. I'm not completely against that. I don't think it would be the end of the world if that's the case. We would be lucky to see the A seed. I don't know. Like I said, who knows how good or bad this team is? I'm not saying they're going to be great, but look, we have, like I said, we have an entirely new roster, entirely new coaching staff. This is not the Lakers from the last year or even several years. We don't know how good defensively we're going to be, how good offensively we're going to be. We don't know chemistry. I know this is a Laker channel, but like, look at the Clippers last year. Clippers lost Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and they were still a legit team that were winning games, playing great because of coaching, chemistry, and just, the guys knowing their role. Those are all huge factors. Those are all things of importance, so this team gels well. This team's great. This team feeds off of each other. Chemistry and role playing and stuff like that is a huge part of success when it comes to the game of basketball. So that's something we got to keep in mind too, New subscriber, what's up, bro? Well, thank you so much, Michael. Welcome aboard. I really appreciate you being here. And nothing, just talking some Lakers talk. Trying to navigate all the craziness this offseason. It's been quite the entertaining offseason, but appreciate you. Welcome aboard. I agree. Ham has to say what he's saying. Yeah, but he's putting big extras on it. Yeah, saying a little too much. Saying he's excited to coach him. He wants Russ on the team. So maybe they oblige. Look, could he want Russ? Absolutely. I wouldn't doubt it. But got to remember, Russ's ego and sensitivity is a big thing. And that's just Ham in general. Like, even if you watch like interviews and stuff he had even before he came to Lakers, he's that guy. He like exemplifies everything, so yeah, like I said, I don't put too much into it. It's best if Russ stays and improves his trade value before the trade deadline. Like I mentioned earlier, is that like problem is at that point, why even trade Russ? Because you're either good enough to where you don't want to break up the team and you don't want to break up the chemistry and you want to see what happens, or you're terrible. And then at that point, you might as well just punt the rest of the season and let his money fall off and then go, hopefully Kyrie comes and saves us, Ham said none, has only been doing individual work. Still no team or 5-5. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, we're not even in training camp yet, how much is Anthony Davis playing 5-5, stuff like that? Even like guys like LeBron, he's played in like the Drew League and then played in the crossover and stuff, but like he's not really playing. He's just showing up and jacking up threes and being entertaining for the fans. These guys aren't really ramping stuff up right now. So if we get a training camp and none isn't playing 5-5 drills with the team, then there's a little bit of concern. But none says that he's 100%. He's, he said the doctors have told him he can do what he needs to do. I'm okay with him, waiting the training camp to really ramp stuff up. Last thing you want is him to get hurt, or something stupid, Russ will get benched if he plays like last year. Ham, I can tell, is respected and won't lose the locker room like Vogel did. I'm excited to see the coach do what's right and not be scared to sit Russ. Yeah, he told Russ to his face that, in one of the presses, that he's going to do what he has to do what's best for the team. He knows he's told Russ what he wants. They have an understanding. They clearly have a relationship because all we see is Russ and Darvin Ham hanging out and stuff like that. So I think however you shake it, we're in a good spot. I'm not concerned with it. Either way, whether we get Russ or we end up making a trade, I'll take my chances with the Lakers this season. I just find it difficult to believe that Darvin Ham, a first-year head coach, can figure out how to maximize Russ and this roster full of non-shooters. It's not like he's a guy that just came off the street. I mean, he has a great pedigree. He came off of a couple years with Budenholzer. Sorry. So he's worked with some of the greatest basketball minds in the league. He has ties to even like Pop and stuff like that. Like the guy has the pedigree. Like he's a guy that like people were saying should have been a head coach 3 or 4 years ago, and he liked his situation with the Bucks, so he never wanted to. Now he gets the opportunity to coach the Lakers. Why wouldn't he? The guy is a really big X's and O's guy. He ran most of the stuff. I mean, Darvin Ham told you Mike Budenholzer had him running everything. He just like, here you go. Here's the keys. Like he said it in his presser. Like, when they asked, like, are you worried about your lack of experience? And he's like, what do you mean lack of experience? He's like, I ran the entire Bucks team the last 2 years because Budenholzer likes to have his assistants be the guy. He's like, so I was calling the plays. I was calling the shots. I was setting up the defense. I was setting up everything, I think he'll be fine. I really do. If the Lakers were offering both picks, I feel like the trade would have been done. So I asked, the trade happens, both picks are given to the Jazz. Will you be disappointed? A little bit, but I'm not like, I get it if they were to do it. I do think if Lakers are willing to give up both first, a deal would already work. But I'm okay with the Lakers not giving up both first. Because the problem is like, if you're and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if you're the Lakers and say Kyrie does want to come to you next season and you're stuck with Conley, that's like worst case scenario. But at least if you have a first, you can move off Conley. There's a team that's going to take that, 29 pick to absorb Conley or whatever. It's just something to keep in mind. But, or maybe even if Kyrie really wants to go to the Lakers, maybe you could do a trade, something like that. I mean, there's options. But yeah, I would be a little disappointed. But look, waiting solves everything. Look, let's say they do the Jazz deal and they win the NBA championship. F them picks. I'm good. I'm glad you traded both of them. But like if they trade those picks and they're still like the A seed or they're a play-in team and they're fighting for then yeah, it's going to be like you should have not traded both of those picks. So I guess, but granted, I guess you can make that argument for any deal, right? It's like if you're winning, nobody says anything. If you're not, then it's all is right in the world. We didn't have great shooting in 2020, but we won the title with timely shooting when it matters. We can do that again, I think. Yeah, exactly. We weren't a great three-point shooting team before. We just had a great defense. We had the best defense in the league, and we were still a highly elite offensive team. And even last year, as bad as we were shooting the ball last year, we still were great. Our offense wasn't our problem last year. It was defense. We just couldn't stop anybody. We'd put up 115, 120 points, and then the other team would put up like 130. It was like there were times where it was like layup drills for other teams. So if we can have a top 5 defense, I think we'll be really good. If we can have a top 5 to top 10 defense, I really do think the Lakers are going to be really good next year. Because I don't think we're with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and let's say we do have to keep Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, and then the guys we got, I don't think we're going to have a problem scoring. I think it's just, can we stop anybody? If we put up 115, can we keep other teams to 110? That's going to be the thing. I don't know what to believe. Is Lakers keeping or trading Russ? Lakers sending out mixed signals? Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I'll continue to reiterate it, is that Russ is still a Laker until he's not. So the Lakers aren't going to do or say anything to mess that up. Because if you end up stuck with Russ, you need him to be willing to buy in. You need him giving 100%. You don't need him saying like, tough, I'm going to show up and I'm going to pull a Vince Carter. It's just like not even like, yeah, I'll be on the court, but it'd be better if you weren't, At this point, I don't think Westbrook is going anywhere. Let's see how things play out this season. Hey, look, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I don't think it's the end of the world, but I do think I do think Rob, if he finds the right deal, if he can find the right trade, I think he pulls the deal. He's not going to just make a trade just to make a trade, which I'm okay with. I'm perfectly fine with it. I love Huff. Both don't see him getting any playing time after signing TB and D. Jones. Swider, though, I can see him getting minutes, and if he's knocked them out, he can earn some more. Yeah. The only reason I could see Huff being on is just because inevitably that Davis is probably going to miss 20-plus games. So, maybe you could get Swider test him out at like the 4, stuff like that. Or if you move you start Damian Jones and Bryant, well, then it'd be good to have Huff come off the bench, stuff like that. I just think Huff would be like an in case of emergency type opportunity. Swider, I think, really could have a legit shot of being a rotation guy, especially if he shoot. The dude shot 53% in Summer League. Now, Summer League is not the same. It's not the same thing as the NBA, and I don't expect him to shoot 53%. But if he can get to like 38%, which is a huge drop off, and he's gonna get a ton of open shots playing with LeBron James, Westbrook, and Davis, if he could just get to like 37, 38%, there's your buddy Hield. There you go. Especially if he can do that with volume. Healthy AD, healthy LeBron, we are definitely winning the championship, no debate, and they are the best duo. I would say the same thing. They are still the best duo in the league. So I'm all for it. And yeah, I don't believe you can count out Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I just don't think that, as long as they are on your team, you have at least a puncher's chance. You at least have a shot if you're the Lakers. So I'll take my chances on this team. I will. But anyway, real quick, it's 137 of you beautiful people in the stream. Hit that like button. We're only at 33 likes. It really does. It helps more than you know. And subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If we could hit 3,000 subscribers today, that'd be amazing. We're at 2931. Do your part. Help me out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hopefully Lakers aren't as boring as the Arena Power this season. Still haven't seen that, but yeah, that's the word. The bird is the word that show is terrible. Is Arena Power really that bad? Based on everything I've heard and seen, yeah, apparently it's awful. Highly doubt Westbrook staying with the Lakers. I don't think so. I really think that if Rob Palinka finds a trade, he finds a trade. But no, I still think he's traded by the end of the week. I think that's a real possibility. Look, if he doesn't get traded within the next week or two, then we're only a couple days from training camp. I don't think he gets traded. But the Lakers did say, look, when all this started, the Lakers said that they were going to give it to training camp as a soft day. So that gives us another 4 weeks, something like that. Doing the season, I heard wait for the deadline, then wait for the offseason, now wait again for the deadline. Yeah, look, if Westbrook starts the season, he's finishing the season. I don't think they trade him. Unless, like I said, unless Kyrie, say the Nets implode and Kyrie wants out again and he's like, look, I'm going to the Lakers next season. And, the Nets are like, hey, let's get something for him. Then maybe. But realistically, that's probably not going to happen. And if that doesn't happen, then what's the point of trading Westbrook? You trade Westbrook for a bunch of role guys that aren't going to make you any different. You're either going to be terrible or you're going to be really good. So if you're really good, there's no point in trading for him. If you're terrible, then why? And even if you're a middle of the pack team, you might as well just hope that these guys can figure it out and get into the playoff. If Rob goes into the season with this roster currently constructed, fire Palinka, I don't think they'd do that. I will cash app $150 to as it stands if Westbrook gets traded. I'm going to hold you to that, okay? I'm going to hold you to that, Victor. But, look, I'd appreciate it. No joke. I would appreciate it. What else? If we do want Kai next summer, our best bet is to just keep Russ. You see how teams are trying to fleece us now. Picture next summer when we're trying to clear castaways for Kai shaking my head. Yeah, that's an excellent point as well. You know what I mean? Look, it depends on what it boils down to. I do think if the Lakers could keep a first in any deal for Russ, I think that'll be enough to move off of a Conley. Because Conley would be an expiring contract next season. there's a team that'll take him on for that first round pick. But you are making some really good points, definitely. Great points, Lakers. Yeah, he absolutely. Lakers over everything is making some solid points for sure. Great channel, brother. I still want the Pacers deal. I'd be cool with Utah without Clarkson. Yeah, Nate. Well, first off, Nate, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And thanks for handing out here. Yeah, look, I still really like the Pacers deal. Problem is the Pacers asking price is ridiculous. And it just makes no sense. Like they have a higher asking price than what Kyrie was originally. Like, so it makes no sense. But yeah, Utah, if we can get Conley, Beasley, Bogdanovich, do that, especially if we only give up one first. Westbrook, a first, maybe a couple seconds or a pick swap or something like that. Cool. All right, whatever. Although the Lakers usually do pretty good in the second round, but nonetheless, whatever. You do that deal, you get those guys. I'm all for that. I don't really like the idea of Clarkson either. I know a lot of people really do, but I just think he's terribly inefficient. We already have like several guys that do the exact same thing and play defense. I just think Clarkson doesn't make a lot of sense on this team. Say the Lakers do the Pacers trade and it doesn't work out. They then try to move Buddy Hield next summer. No team is taking that contract without a first. That's what I'm saying. They would have to, in any deal, for Hield, Conley, whatever, they got to keep a first because it's the only way you're going to be able to move off of those guys if Kyrie wants to come next summer. I have faith in the words of Westbrook getting traded. Well, thank you, Victor. I appreciate that. Look, like I've said, though, keep in mind, I'm just some dude on YouTube. I'm not a guy that I'm not, an insider. I'm not anything like that. I just look at the situation. I look at the writing on the wall. I look at what makes sense for everybody. And I just give my take. I give my opinions. I really, and I mean, we're hearing the reports. Look, the Jazz and Lakers we know are at least having a conversation. They're at least talking about it. So that's a good sign. That's a positive direction. Whether it gets done or not, that's something completely different. But it's definitely a step in the right direction. Westbrook for Randall and Fournier straight up, no picks. Who says no? The Lakers. Randall was worse than Westbrook last year in like every statistical category. Not just that, but where does Randall fit? He's on a terrible contract, multi-year deals if he plays like he did last year. If he's the Randall from 2 years ago, which I don't think he's that guy. I mean, I don't think he's as bad as he was last year, but I do think he's somewhere in the middle. Problem is like just Randall's just the fit is terrible. And it's just, where does he play? Is he going to be okay with coming off the bench? Are you going to pay $25 million for a guy to come off the bench? Because he's not starting over Davis. And the whole reason you got Thomas Bryant and Damian Jones is so Davis doesn't have to play the 5. So it's like, where does Randall fit? And on top of where does he fit? I don't think he's not somebody we need. I'm not against the Reddish, Fournier, and Rose deal, which the Lakers wouldn't have to give up a pick either in that trade. If you could get Reddish, Fournier, and Rose for Westbrook, let's do that. Like that deal, especially if you don't have to give up picks, because you shouldn't have to give up picks because the Knicks want to move off of salary and they want to free up space for the young guys like McBride and Grimes and all that stuff. That's all and they were going to trade Fournier and Cam Reddish in the 3-team deal to the Lakers. And they weren't going to get anything from the Lakers. They were just going to get Reddish, Fournier, and then Bogdanovich was what was being talked about, was being reported. So, like, yeah, that's the thing. So, if you could do Fournier, Rose, and Reddish, and you don't have to give up any picks, or you give up a couple seconds or something like that, I would do that deal. I might even do that deal over the Jazz deal, if I'm being honest. Rose is a little concern for me, his fit, stuff like that, but you get Reddish, low risk, high reward guy. Hasn't really gotten a fair shake. Big body, could be your 3-and-D guy. If he turns out to be the prospect that many people thought he would be, then that's huge for the Lakers. And he's a guy young enough for the long term. Fournier is basically our better Buddy Hield, in my opinion. I wouldn't mind that. Rose, maybe you even try to package Rose and send him elsewhere, and try to maybe work out a 3-team deal. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Euphoric Notes, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Seriously, I appreciate you. Don't spend it all in one place. Hey, I'll be careful with it. I'll keep it in the account. But seriously, thank you so much. Really, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat and all your support and everybody that does these streams, everyone that hangs out with me, everyone that does this stuff. I really do. I appreciate it. I love it. Like, I'm in a blessed position. I get to talk Lakers with all you people, whether we agree, disagree, what more can I ask for? Like, seriously, this is amazing. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I really do. These last two picks are our last biggest asset other than trading LeBron and AD. So Rob has to make this move count. Darren, I'm with you. Got to do the right deal. Look, if Rob finds the right deal, he'll make the trade. But I don't want to see Rob just make a deal just to make a deal. Is it going to piss off a lot of people? Probably, but stay mad. Like, Rob's got to do what's best for the team. He's got to do what puts the Lakers in the best position without mortgaging and ruining their future. Like, look, every 6 months, another star wants out. So it's like, if every star wants out, it's like, why would we, like, what happens? Let's say we trade all the picks. Let's say we trade all the assets. We do everything, right? And let's say, I don't know, what's the name? Let's just throw out a name out. Let's say, whatever. Let's say Ja. Not saying it's ever going to happen. Just the first name that came to my head. So relax. But like, let's say Ja is like, I want out and I want to go to the Lakers, right? How stupid is it going to be that the Lakers gave up all their assets and now they have no way to go get him? Or let's say Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's probably a more reasonable, realistic target. Let's say Bradley Beal's like, I want to be traded. I want to go to Lakers, at the trade deadline. But now Lakers gave up everything. They can't trade him. Like, if there's no deal, don't force the issue. Just let it play out. Let it do its thing. Just don't get crazy. Also, deep down inside, I don't see the Nets stuff working. I see them imploding during the season and then the scrambling to move guys. So trade deadline, we could be business if we hold pat. Yes, that's an excellent point. I've said the same thing. I really like if I had to bet on the Nets imploding or winning a championship, I would bet pretty heavily that the Nets would implode before they won a championship. Like, if it was either or, because obviously they could be somewhere in the middle. But if it was like, look, there are two options that happen this season. Either the Nets are going to win the championship or they're just going to implode and blow it up. I would bet heavily that they're going to implode and blow it up. It's just, I don't think that that's going to happen. Insider decided no to a Randall trade. I'm with you, Nate. Yeah. I don't see that being anything close to a good idea, if I'm being honest. Jason, what is going on? What's up, bro? I'm feeling pretty confident Jazz doesn't push for 2 first, then deal gets done. Yeah, I think ultimately what will probably end up happening, probably be Beasley, Conley, and Bogdanovich for a first, maybe a second, and Westbrook. That's probably what ends up happening if I had to guess. Jazz have to move off players. They get to move off of the Conley deal. That's great for them. Frees up cap space for next season, stuff like that. You get a valuable asset in the 27th pick. What more could you ask for? I have no doubts Danny Ainge wants the 20. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Danny Ainge wants those picks. He would love those picks. And a lot of teams do. Like, a lot of people need to understand, like, and it was even reported that the Lakers picks are valuable because a lot of executives, a lot of GMs look at the Lakers and go, ever since Dr. Buss died, rest in peace, the Lakers have been in shambles. Until LeBron came and saved them, they were a wreck. So when LeBron leaves, the likelihood of the Lakers returning to shambles is very high. That 27th pick especially could end up being a number 1 pick. It's not out of the realm of possibility because Davis is probably gone. LeBron's probably gone unless some other stars come or the Lakers, get some assets in like a Davis trade or something like that and it turns out to be really good. It's very possible that those picks are really good. And that's why there's value. That's why teams are clamoring to get those picks because they're looking at it as like the Lakers have not been as well ran as they previously were. And the likelihood of LeBron leaving and them falling apart is high. Whether we agree with that or not, that's the reality. That's how people are looking at this. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Can you explain to us the trade you spoke about earlier? Bog, Conley, Turner, and Beasley to Indy. That was a great video. Yeah. Oh, well, first off, thank you so much, Lakers Over Everything. So what Lakers Over Everything is referring to, posted a video earlier today. It was 4 hours now, about to hit 4 hours. 4 hours ago, I made a video And basically it came from people leaving comments asking if there's a way for us to get Miles Turner in a potential deal after the Jazz deal, or just doing that independently. And so the only conceivable way that the Lakers could acquire Turner in a Jazz deal is a 3-team deal. So essentially what would happen is Conley and Bogdanovich would go to the Lakers. Beasley and Turner would be swapped. So the Beasley salary and Turner's salary, because of the 125% rule, can just be swapped in an even trade. Like, you don't need to add any other salary. You don't need to do anything like that. So what could happen, not saying it will happen, but it's the only really conceivable way that the Lakers could land Miles Turner in a deal with Bog, Conley, so on and so forth. The only way that could happen is if the Lakers basically told the Pacers, like, hey, we are going to go do this Jazz deal. What now? We still want Miles Turner. You can lose Miles Turner for nothing, or we can give you an asset in Beasley, maybe you throw in a second round pick to add some enticement, maybe a pick swap, because those are always just in case. There you go. We'll give you a Beasley, young player, could be a part of your now, could be a part of your future. Great situation to be in. He could play and slot right next to Halliburton. That's better than getting nothing. And so basically the Lakers in a 3-team deal could essentially land Turner, Conley, Bogdanovich. Now, is that likely to happen? Probably not. But it is conceivably possible for the Lakers to land Turner, Bog, and Conley. Again, so 3-team deal, Conley, Bogdanovich, and Beasley would go to the Lakers. Lakers would reroute Beasley for Turner and that swap. So Conley, Bog, and Turner come to the Lakers. Beasley goes to the Pacers, and then Westbrook and a first would go to the Jazz. That would be the best way. That would be the best case scenario. So there you go. Hope I explained that better. Sorry, doing it on the fly where the video was more structured and I could edit, piece it together better. But yeah, there you go. And Euphoric Notes coming in hot again with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. You've been very consistent. Got to show some love. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, look, I love this stuff. I love being able to talk with all you guys. I love being able to just talk Lakers. Like, who wouldn't want this position? I'm growing the channel. I'd love to be like a fixture and a face on YouTube when it comes to sports in general, but also the Lakers. It'd be great. I would absolutely love this. So, I have a goal, and I just believe the only way to get your goals is to work hard for it and to do what you got to do to get there. So that's what I'm currently trying to do is work hard to get there. So yeah. What else? Hang on 1 second. We might have got, all right. Okay, perfect. I just got the news. I just got the confirmation. So at 6 p.m. Pacific time, as well as at 6 p.m. Let me see if they actually got it up yet. Hang on 1 second. Is it up yet? Not yet. It's not showing anything. Anyway, I'll check out the link. But I just got confirmation. I am going to be on the Kareem Report tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So what time is it right now? So basically 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours. In 2 hours, check out the Kareem Report. I'll make a community post. So that way everyone knows. So yeah, I will be on the Kareem Report tonight at 6 p.m. The stream is 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific time, Central time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So check me out over on the Kareem Report. Just got the confirmation. So there you go. But yeah, Euphoric Notes again. Thank you so much. Like I said, working hard, trying to grow, just trying to grow. Who do you have in the Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva fight? Look, Anderson Silva is actually a pretty solid boxer. I think Jake Paul wins that, but I think it's a pretty solid. I think Anderson Silva is probably one of the tougher challenges he's faced, if I'm being honest. But I do think Jake Paul is a better overall boxer. But I would love to see Anderson Silva win. I'd love to see that. A Silva, clearly, Jake Paul is smaller, and only advantage he has is youth. Yeah, that's a big advantage, though, especially if it goes late in rounds. Did you see Russ on his boat in Utah this past week? Yes. Yeah, Russ was in Utah for like 2 weeks or like a week and some change, something like that. I would take Fournier and Reddish if we keep our picks. That's a win-win. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to do that deal, especially if we keep the picks. What else? Hi, my name is Russell Mills, and I have a YouTube channel. Type in Russell Mills 2017 to find me. That's awesome, Russell Mills. Yeah, this guy has been consistent. Hold my light, please. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. Hey, like I said, I believe the only way to really achieve the goals that you want to achieve, the only way to get to where you want to be is consistency and hard work. And so I try to stay on top of it. I try to do it. I really want to, like I said, I'd be a face, and, these live streams, you guys watching the videos, you guys hit the like button. The like button's free. So is the subscription. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 3,000 subs today. That would be amazing. But we're growing steadily. We're getting great views. We're getting great everything. Obviously, super chats really do help. Don't feel like you have to give super chats. I'm not doing this for super chats, but of course, it helps the channel, helps me grow. I look, anybody that does YouTube, it might be a hobby, it might be for fun, it might be something like that. But the goal is to do this for a living, right? If I could be a YouTuber, just make videos all day, make some real money. And I'm not even saying I have to be like, millionaire or anything like that. But if I can make a reasonable living doing YouTube, who wouldn't want to do that, right? So yeah. And anybody that tells you like, oh no, that's not what I want. Yeah, okay. Like, then why are you doing YouTube? They better do something, is all I'm saying. I feel it. Let's go fire with the Kareem stream. Yeah, well, thank you. See you at the Kareem report. Yes, awesome. I can't wait. Yeah, they reached out to me earlier today, and we were going back and forth, and finally got the confirmation. So yeah, and they said I could announce it on the stream because we saw the Kareem report in the stream earlier. So yeah, so that's really cool. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, so yeah, the Kareem report, like I said, 6 p.m. I'm going to wrap up here now that I got the confirmation, which is good because I'm at the end of the stream. I'm going to knock out these last few questions, and then I'm going to get out of here so that way, clear my head, get a little rest, stretch a little bit, so I'm not just sitting in this chair for like 5 hours because, however long the Kareem report stream is. But I'm honored to be on the stream. I'm thankful that they reached out and are even willing to have me, even LA Live, like, I'm very thankful, like the fact that people want me to be a part of this community and hear my perspective and, everything like that. I just, what more could I ask for, So LA Sports Live, big shout outs to them. Again, if you didn't see their live stream, I was on the stream yesterday with LA Sports Live. Go check that out on their channel. And then Kareem report later tonight. It's an honor. It's an honor that people even want me involved in their channels. I'm relatively new in the space, right? I just even the As It Stands channel, which is like my mother channel that launched this channel, even that channel, like, I started growing like 2-3 months ago, so it's been a very small time, so it's a blessing. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm good on Turner and Hield, and most of all, Indiana and their lopsided trading practices, traded by scraps, who's better than and more valuable than both guys have. Yeah. Here's the other half. But want to charge arm and leg players acting as if Westbrook's contract is a beneficial thing. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The Lakers tax is real. I'm telling you, Lakers tax is a real tax, 100%. Russell Westbrook, one more year as a brick. A Lakers. Oh my God, Lord, give me. I feel it. Blessings. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Seriously. On your YouTube. Yeah, definitely. I am. I keep it honest. That's beautiful and way different. Yeah. Well, thank you. Look, that's the one thing you're always going to get with me is honesty. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, whether it's a good take, whether it's a bad take, going to get my honest opinion, going to hear it. And like, why would I hide it? Why would I not be transparent? Like, look, I didn't start a YouTube channel because I wanted to look at myself on screen all day. No, I started a YouTube channel so I could be a YouTuber and, be somebody in this space. Like, why would I lie about this? Not just that, but it's not like this is a rare thing anymore. Like 15 years ago, like, yeah, people were like, what? You want to be a YouTuber? Like, no, it's like a real thing now. And things that go into it, super chats, AdSense, all that stuff, PayPal, Cash App, that's how we fund it. Whether you're a streamer or YouTuber or whatever, that's how we make our living. You guys watching the videos, you guys liking the videos, super chat, stuff like that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there's enough of that in the world. Like, somebody's got to be honest. Somebody's got to be real. That's what you get. Like, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, you're always going to get the honesty with me. So, if you want unhonest, there's plenty of that out there. But Lakers, what's going on, Hypebeast Dad? Appreciate you being here. All right, last question, then we'll get out of here so I can, like I said, stretch a little bit and then get ready for the Kareem Report stream. Hope to see you all there. I'll even get a community post up so that way everyone knows. If the Lakers, Jazz, Knicks did a 3-team deal, would you be stoked if they got RJ Barrett and Fournier for Westbrook and 2 unprotected? I would absolutely be stoked. The problem is they can't trade RJ Barrett because he just signed the extension, so he can't be traded. I don't even think he'd be traded at all this year, if I'm not mistaken. But at the very least, he wouldn't be able to be traded for the deadline. Not that the Knicks would ever trade RJ. They're not going to trade RJ Barrett. I mean, they didn't even trade RJ for Donovan Mitchell. They're not going to trade him for the picks in Westbrook. But hypothetically speaking, if it was to happen, absolutely. I would love that. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me. Euphoric note, thank you so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate that. Everybody hanging out, thank you so much. Again, hit that like button for me. You have no idea the power of the like button when it comes to being a YouTuber. So hit that like button. And subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Help me reach 3,000 subs today. We're pretty close. We're almost there. What are we at? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a quick little update. We're at 2938. So what is that? 62 subscribers away. I know I can hit that today. There's 100 of you still in here listening to me sign off. So if even a handful of you go subscribe, I'd be very thankful, very appreciative. See you guys all on the Kareem Report tonight. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you.